Truth Frequency Radio Network. KTFRN. Worldwide.
Hola, this is Sienna Leia, inviting you to join me tonight as we navigate through the seen and the unseen, explore external and internal realities, expose on-world and off-world agendas, discover a path to joy and freedom. Now, join me as we illuminate the Shadowland and reclaim our birthright as free and sovereign beings.
Good evening, beautiful people. This is Sienna Leia, and you are listening to Truth Frequency Radio Network, and this is Illuminating the Shadowland. Alchemy at Dysfunction Junction with Laura Lee Mistycah. I'm here tonight with Laura Lee, who is a medical intuitive, psychic, author, teacher, and spiritual consultant. She writes in her newly re-released book, Kryahgenetics, The Simple Secrets of Human Alchemy. The most loving thing that we can do right now is fearlessly stand up, take on and take down the socio-psychopathic tyrants that are perpetrating, perverting, torturing, and destroying everything that is beautiful and authentic. The corruption virus has got to meet the antivirus. Laura Lee has written 3 books. Kryahgenetics is her latest. And in it, she has keys. She writes, "What you do with these keys could change history. These keys could make you a hero and a legend." Welcome to the show tonight, Laura Lee.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I love talking about cryogenetics.
Well, I loved reading your book. I couldn't put it down, quite honestly. It did hold so many extraordinary insights. And the thing that I really loved about it is how real it was, how it didn't mince words, how it was full of humor and truth. And it wasn't pedantic or new agey, and yet it's about as far out there as you can get.
That's true. That's true. It is really far out in so many ways. Yeah, well, I kind of have my spirit guide Hal to thank for that. The humor thing, that's him, and he doesn't mince words. He just gets right to the point, and yeah, he taught me a lot. And I feel like it's important that we do just get to the point, because we don't have time to dance around things. It kind of annoys me when I read things on the internet or other books and stuff of people that go on and on with flowery language, and it takes them forever to say anything. And
yes.
As first wave Indigos are like, okay, get to the point. What's the point? So you sit there, and maybe after chapter 5, there's a point. And you think, I've read all this for one point in 5 chapters. So yeah, I like to condense things, and we really don't have time here to mess around anymore. So
good. I'm glad you say that, because that brings me right to my next question.
Okay.
What the devil is going on here? I'm taking that directly from your book. What the devil is going on here, Laura Lee?
Oh, what a loaded question.
I know, it is. It is.
What the devil? Everything is going on here. Everything that you could possibly imagine is happening here on planet Earth. And it's a real, it's an honor, but then with all the challenges, people think, well, thanks, but no thanks. I don't think I want that honor of being here, especially the ones that are on the front line.
It's thoroughly rough.
It is not. It is not.
Okay.
And
the
go ahead.
The thing that you're such a master at is spotting the unseen off-world interdimensional manipulations. And I believe you really are of the organic light, not the false light. I believe from reading your book that you're using alchemy / magic to beat these fellows at their own game. And I want our listeners to hear about the levels of, give us a few examples of the kinds of things. And I know you have been a Ghostbuster gal for years, so you're dealing with goats. Tell us some of the things that you're encountering in terms of the attack on the human spirit. Let's maybe start there.
Well, first of all, ghosts are easy. Ghosts are easy to handle. You know, it's the living that give us the problems. I mean, there's things that you can do for a ghost. Somebody has a ghost, you can, you know, take them across them or put them wherever they need to go, cosmically recycle them. But it's the living that give us the problem. What do you do with somebody that's living, that's raising Cain here? Well, the only thing that you can do is work on an underground level like they do, and that is work with magic. And it's not once you really start going down this path in this rabbit hole, you realize that this entire planet is being run on magic and not good magic. It's black magic. The whole system of the tyrants that run the planet are operating from magic. Now, they won't tell you that. In fact, they'll pretend to be the opposite of that. But really, truly, when you do your research and you start investigating and through your own experiences, you realize that there is a corruption virus that got let loose, and everything here has gotten corrupted. And we have to come here and set things straight. And that's what I call them the cosmic cleanup crew. That it came to this planet to help clean up this mess because it was getting really out of hand, and it was actually the corruption virus was getting so bad that it was jeopardizing other universes. So there's a lot of beings that came into this universe from other places outside the universe to help clean up the virus. And if it could have been cleaned up from the outside, we would have done it, but it couldn't. We had to go inside. It's an inside job. And a lot of the first wave Indigos, and there's other cosmic cleanup crew members that are here on assignment inside the hologram to clean it up from the inside. And I have a little different perception about how it all works than probably most people have encountered, but it's my understanding that this universe was created for a vacation spot because of the horrendous challenges that were going on with one of, I would say, the darkest being that has ever been created. And she was mucking everything up, and so a lot of creator beings and techie people got together and thought, let's create a hologram that we can go to for some R&R, because we just can't keep doing this war thing day in and day out and have PTS every single minute, every day. We've got to have some relaxation. So they created this universe, and it was an incredible universe where you could go and do anything and relax. It's kind of like the cosmic Bahamas. You can just have a good time. Well, before it got all of the checks and balance systems in place, it was pretty good, but there was still a little tweaking that needed to happen. This hologram got turned on by corrupted orgone energy via the very nasty being that had corrupted everything else. And so we're like, oh.
Can you tell us a little bit about, you said her.
Yeah, it's a her. It's a her. On my website, firstwaveindigos.com, I talk about her I hate to even say her name because it just makes me want to throw up. So, let me just check. Yeah, I don't think I should say it over the air. So anyway, she, we call her the D-Meister, or actually my Ghostbuster partner calls her the D-Monster. And that's kind of what her name starts with a D, and so that's why we call her that. But she was so evil, nasty, vile. There's no words that can describe how cunning and foul. And she wanted to control everything. It's like as above, so below, right? You know, we got the same kind of things going on here that she perpetuated up there. But she hated anything that was pure and natural and benevolent. She hated it. And she made her life whole purpose to corrupt everything. And things were getting kind of out of hand there, but we got a handle on that. And we were able to extinguish part of her. But there was another part of her that slipped in the hologram that we had to figure out what we needed to do. Now, a lot of the creators of the hologram had parts of themselves inside the hologram for authenticity. So, you know, we all had a meeting, and it's like, okay, so what should we do here? And, you know, it's like if we turned it off, there was parts of people that would just go away because it was inside. So it was decided, okay, we need to go in there. If a part of this D-Meister is in there, we need to go in there and we need to extinguish that. And it was not an easy thing. There was a tremendous amount of risk involved in coming into this hologram. Tremendous amount of risk. Those from outside that are in here know that they risked everything to come in here. So it was decided that okay, we're going to have to do this. Now, what's interesting is by then things inside the hologram had started to get corrupted, and there were. Since the D-Meister had part of her essence in here, and she was raising all sorts of hell in here. So what she did is start creating counter checks and balance systems so we couldn't get in. And part of that is hologram entrance agreements and earth entrance agreements. And so you had to take on these forced agreements that you won't use your X-Men abilities, or you won't open up your heart fully, or you'll shut down your heart totally. Just really stupid, debilitating things. One of the big ones that I had was that it was like a catch-22, and it said, if you wake up and start doing what you came here to do, we will hunt down the ones you love and we will annihilate them. And so and this story is in the Kryahgenetics book, I was just like really weird with my kids. I would like pat them on the head when they were out in public, and no demonstrative, no hugs, no kisses. I was just really robotic and hardly showed any emotion to my kids at all when I was in public. But then when I was at home, I was Mother Goose. And I thought that is like really weird behavior, really strange. And it took me years and years of my own internal work and going to different counselors and reading a lot of books. And then things kind of started coming together around the turn of the century. And I think that's kind of what happened to a lot of people, that things started really going fast track around the turn of the century. And so here we are. There's, let me go back. So I was able to find that forced agreement and clear it through the methodologies that I have in the book. And ever since then, I have just been fine. Now, these earth agreements are the same as the hologram. Some people are native to the hologram. Their spirits and their essence are a part of the hologram. They're natives here. And for those people and those first wave indigos, incidentally, there's a UV realm that trained indigos outside the hologram, and there's one inside the hologram. So for those first wave indigos and other cosmic cleanup crew members that are indigenous to this hologram, this holographic universe, they also had forced agreements that they took on in order to get into earth bodies. And it's really important to sit down and take a look at your life and say, okay, what kind of things don't make sense? And what am I afraid of? And start listing the things that you're afraid of, and I'll bet you will find some of your forced agreements there. So, and then after that, you can say, okay, how does this, what's the threat behind it? Almost every forced agreement has a threat behind it. So once you get those figured out, then you can start taking care of it. Now, and this is really crazy, and it sounds so simple and so crazy and stupid, but it works, okay? So
yeah.
what you do, once you found your forced agreement, is you take those, and this is all done. Oh, I am so sorry about that. Did you hear that?
No, it's fine. Okay. It's fine, okay. Lorelei.
Okay. Talk about viruses, and my virus database goes on. So when you find these forced agreements, there's a methodology that you use to get rid of them, and that's and this is all done in your head etherically. You go and you go to whoever or whatever. Sometimes it's machines that you made these agreements with. And you go to them and say, see this list of agreements? This and this and this and this and this. Well, these are now null and void because I was crossing my fingers when I agreed to them. And then you rip them up, and then you take who or whatever you made that agreement to and stuff them down the cosmic recycle bin. Now, these cosmic recycle bins they come in all shapes and sizes, and when you put something down the cosmic recycle bin, if there's anything useful, it will come out the other end. If it's not, it will just be dematerialized. And this, my friends, is part of the magic that we can use to counter their dark magic.
Wow.
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, I didn't. I thought I prepared for this show, too, but I can see that's pretty much impossible. Okay.
So, yeah, this is kind of everything in a nutshell. When you read the book, this will make a lot more sense to you. For those of you listening that your lives are just like going to hell in a handbasket and nothing seems to work, a lot of that could be because of these forced agreements that you took on to shut down your abilities and keep you on the gerbil wheel so that you cannot do what you came here to do. Brilliant plan, huh?
Yes, you have to give it to the dark side. They're clever. They're stupid because anything that's making a war with creation itself is pretty lame. But they are very clever. We'll give them that.
Yes. And I've got to get another web page up just on forced agreements. I haven't had time to do that. But I have a list of the ones, not just that I took out, but when my clients come to me, I help them find those forced agreements so that they can get those handled and get moving on. And the people, after they've cleared these, it's like a new lease on life. You don't have those nooses around your neck that are just pulling you back and keeping you down. And I think it's really important, especially for first wave indigos, to not be afraid of their X-Men abilities. I know a lot of them have shut them down because they scared people, but it's time to start activating those again and really start taking charge of their abilities and the qualifications that they had to come here in the first place as part of the rescue operation here. So
okay, let me ask you something. I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
Go ahead.
And this probably sounds so rudimentary to you, but there may be some listeners out there that do not understand what a first wave indigo is. Most of us have heard of the Indigos, but what are the first wave indigos?
Okay, very good. Yeah, you keep me on task here. It's like, people say, what do you do? And I just sit there with my mouth open. I hardly can even know what to tell them. What do you do? And my daughter came to me and she says, Mom, somebody asked me what my mother did for a living and I couldn't really tell them.
Yeah, well, it's vast and also there's very little language for the people who are the real deal doing the real work, because it's so outside the matrix that they've made sure that we don't even have any language to describe. But that's okay. We're going to create some definitions and understanding here in 3D land just for the next few hours.
That's good. Okay, because so first wave indigos. We've heard a lot about the indigo children, and there's a lot of support systems for them. And it was back again around the turn of the century. I was thinking, you know what? There is a huge group of people, and they were the older teenagers, the 20-somethings, and then I found later that it was even the baby boomers that were crying for help, that nobody understood them, that have always been on the sidelines looking in and always felt foreign here. And those are, if you go to my website, it has the indigo profiles. And if you read that and you can relate to 90% of it, you can pretty much darn bet that you're a first wave indigo. Now, indigos came to this planet in mass between 1969 and 1987. And then there was a huge, like maybe about a third of them that came in the 50s, the baby boomers. And then there were some younger ones and some older ones kind of dotting through history. Nikola Tesla was definitely a first wave indigo. He was so far out of his league at that time. But now it's like we came here now where we can make a difference in mass, because we had to come in mass in order to fix things and clear the corruption here. We had to come in mass. One person couldn't do it. 100 people couldn't do it. 1,000 people couldn't do it. We had to come in mass. And also a lot of our colleagues from that I call the Cosmic Cleanup Crew are here too, and they're here in mass. So we've got a lot of help here. And we also have a lot of counter help, because a lot of the ones that look good, pretend to look good, aren't good. And Kryahgenetics goes into depth on that, on how corruption is really smart. And it said somewhere in the book that, it gave the profile of one of these really corrupted beings, and it said, where do you think you would find these? Do you think you'd find them in the sleazy bars and the creepy places on the planet? Well, you might find a few of them there, but that's not where they hang out. They hang out in the spiritual and metaphysical communities. That's where they're doing most of their work.
Okay, Laura Lee, and that is exactly where we're going to dive into, because I know that you have in your book a whole outlining of the light destroyers and the light conductors and all the different levels of that. I found that to be one of the most enlightening aspects of your work, although there are many, because you describe what is 6 or 7 layers of individuals. And we are so naive to this because a lot of these people are presenting themselves as the luminaries, as the movers and shakers of creating the new paradigm, and they're perched right now to pounce on us and make the new world and lead us into the golden age. And these are not the people we think they are. And I want to hear way more about that. We're going to go to the break in just a couple minutes. Can we hear how to access your website before we go to break?
Yes, I have a couple of them. The first one is FW-Inigos.com. And that's like the main site. If you go there, there's links to everything else. I do have MistyChouse.com, MISTYC house.com, and then GhostbusterGals.com if you're interested in that.
Beautiful. We'll be right back. This is Illuminating the Shadowland with Sienna Lee and Laura Lee, Mistycah. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. This is Sienna Leah, and you are here on Truth Frequency Radio Network with Illuminating the Shadowland. I'm here today with Laura Lee Mistycah, and we are talking about weird shit. I said it. Sorry, you guys. This is the Truth Frequency. We're calling a spade here on this radio show. Laura Lee, oh wise, divine, magical, white witch, speak to us of weird shit.
That's so funny. It's funny because in our ghost book we talk about WS. That's the acronym for weird shit, and we have different degrees of weird shit. There's WS, and then there's RWS. That's really weird shit. And then there's RWSS, that's really weird, scary shit. And there's just degrees of it. So the stuff we're doing now is RW, and it could be really weird, scary shit, but we're trying to take the scare out of it because that's what we do. So we were talking about the 5 types of beings on the planet.
Yes, I would love you to break that down for us.
Okay.
Because that was such an eye-opener reading that. You know, sometimes we know something's wrong, but people can dazzle you with aspects of their being. And it's so, you don't want to be in judgment. And then you're feeling something is so not right. And then how do I navigate? How do I augment the positive? There's some people that, even though they're dazzling you, it's really best to stay away and to be protected, and to not let them into your inner circle. But it's confusing to know who's who and what's what. And I find this aspect of your book exceedingly clarifying. So, yes, please tell us about it.
Okay. And this actually has really helped me, and it helped me see even better after I started working on the second edition of this book, because if you don't know who you're playing with, you can't play the game, and you can't do your job here to the best of your abilities if you keep misjudging or misinterpreting who your playmates are here. Not that I'd want to have some of these people be playmates, but yeah, they're here with us. So.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so we have the earth beings, and that they represent, at this point in time, now all of these percentages can change. They represent 40% of our population. And originally, what they were supposed to be doing is taking care of the earth. Earth beings take care of earth, right? Okay, well, things have kind of devolved, and they've been very much manipulated, so it's hard for them to even do their job of taking care of the earth anymore, because they've been mind controlled and controlled in so many ways through so many methods. So the poor earth beings, they can't even do their job anymore. Well, after the earth beings, you kind of have to see the picture. It looks like a V. An earth being can graduate and move on their spiritual evolution path, and they can either go to the light keeper side or the light resistor side. And it used to be, and this really kind of annoyed me, because I thought we were just canceling each other out. It used to be that the amount on the light keeper side was exactly the same as the amount on the light resistor side. And I thought, well, what's the point of getting up and doing our job? We're just canceling them out. What's the point? Well, just recently, this has changed, and we're not canceling them out anymore. We're dissolving them. We do not need light destroyers on this planet or in this universe. The universe was not created originally to have light destroyers in here. So they need to be extinguished. There's no place for them here, inside the hologram or outside the hologram. We can evolve just fine without them. And there's this huge propaganda agenda that says, oh, but you need us. You need us for your growth. If you didn't have us, you would never grow. Oh, we could grow. We could grow very well without them. And if we ever needed that kind of experience, there are methodologies that we could experience that through holodecks and through movies or whatever. We don't need to have it plagued upon an entire universe and almost take over and put it in jeopardy. We don't need that. And I remember many, many times I would get these voices that would say, oh, but you need us. No, we don't. We don't need them. We
so what do people do when they recognize? Now, there's like 5 or 6 levels on the light destroyer side, right? They're gradations of it.
Yes.
You have all this breakdown, and I know we can't get into all the detail, but
right.
It's confusing because some of them are posing as the light conductors, correct?
Yes, they are, and they are really good at that. When you move up the scale of light keepers or light resistors, first there's the betas, then there's the alphas, and then the ones that are really making the moves are the light conductors and the light destroyers. And the light destroyers, yes, some of them, you can look at them and go, those are really bad apples, stay away. But there's a lot of them that come in sheep's clothing so that you will think they're just nice and spiritual and they've got it all down and they've got the answers. They're
mimicking, aren't they mimicking the light conductors?
Yes, they are. They are. You're exactly right. They are. And the sad thing is, most of the light destroyers, those movers and shakers are usually making quite a bit of money. The light conductors, there's very few light conductors at this point in time that are affluent financially. And that's why I wrote the chapter in there about money, because if we are going to make any kind of abrupt changes here, we've got to get control of the monetary systems on this planet, because it's those systems that are bringing us down. It's the creepy sleazoids, the psychopaths that own the money, that are the money lords over this place that are destroying it. And if we can get some of our Lightkeeper team to get in the back door and start getting their piece of the action in the form of money, we are going to make huge differences on this planet. And I feel like the chapter on money is one of the most important chapters. Well, they're all important, but that is like really important chapter in this book, because it's money that makes things move here. It just is. And if you say, oh, well, we can do it without, yes, we can, but you can't do it in the way that you could with it. And so I would highly recommend, if you're wanting to do some positive changes here, that you get the book and you read that 2 or 3 times, because it tells you step-by-step things that you can do to get into the monetary game. And it's not easy, because they don't want any silly light conductors or alphas or betas in their game. They'll have some earth beings, but they don't want us in their game, and they've done really a good job of keeping us out. And I'm not going to stand for that. And I didn't come to this planet to fail, okay? So I have some keys and codes in the book that will help you understand and teach you how to get in the back door of the monetary system. And you'll just have to read the book, because it takes kind of a long time to talk about it.
Okay, fantastic. That is super important. I'd like to get back for a moment, if we could, to the light conductors and the light destroyers. Now, I did have a private session with Laura Lee, I must tell you, which I found very enlightening. I found your read on different people in my life in terms of this light destroyer, light conductor, really enlightening, because some of the people that I really thought had a lot of light were just not at the place with it that I thought. I mean, it was kind of eye-opening. I like to cut people the benefit of the doubt in some ways, but I think that as we're reclaiming our power, we need to know who we're dealing with. I'd like some personality profiles of these ones that are the deceivers. I don't remember which level that is. The ones that are posing, because I think we're right on a precipice right now, where there's going to be a lot of new projects, for example, very enticing and seductive projects that are led by some of the big mover and shakers in even the alternative world. And some of these will be stepping stones, and they will be good and important and valuable, and others will be really leading us into the false light. And I feel we're right in the precipice of huge maneuvers towards the false light. And I would like people to have more discernment, because it is incredibly difficult to know these people, because they're speaking the language of the deep things that we hold deepest in our heart, a change in sustainability, finding solution, new systems that are not part of this cruel and psychopathic paradigm, and yet they are wolves in sheep's clothing, speaking from the false light.
Okay. What I'll do is read the light destroyer profile. These beings represent 5% of our population. They have the same geometrical spirals as light conductors, but definitely go the opposite direction. 80% hang out in the metaphysical environments. 98% of these beings are male energies or entities in female bodies. Now, a lot of the men on the planet that are the heads of state and things, you think, well, they must be the light destroyers. Well, it says in the book, where do you think they get their power from? They get it from the light destroyer, the female light destroyers. 98, let's see, they're highly intelligent, knowledgeable, and well-networked. They're power mongers. You usually find them in positions of power and or public figures. Have an agenda of take over and rule. That's a hidden agenda, may I say. 80% are aesthetically pleasing and attractive women, or at least on the outside. Manipulate, infiltrate, and knock the light keepers off balance, then drain their energy and their resources. Every once in an eon or two, a light destroyer will do a switch and go to the light keepers team permanently, but this very rarely occurs. They suck you into their traps by using love, light, and freedom as their decoys. They use inverted, perverted, corrupted, dark light power sources. 90% of these beings know on a conscious level that they love the power, authority, and control they have over other people and are always scheming new ways of expanding their empires, whatever size it may be. In this respect, they are fully aware and cognizant of their position as a number one light destroyer, which they are very proud of. Now, the male beings that are the creepy, like I say, heads of state and heads of corporations, they would be their alphas. They would be like the light destroyers, foot soldiers, doing their bidding. And so, I'm glad that you brought this up, because as evolving beings, we want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I think we should so do that. But we also need to keep both eyes open, and especially our hearts and our core star as the front lines filter, so that we can see who these beings are and know how much time and energy we need to spend with them. If we're surrounded by these beings, then we need to get the intel that we need from them and move back a little bit, so that we don't, if you know the game you're playing, you're okay. But if you don't know the game you're playing, it's really hard to maneuver in and out of that. But once you know, it's like, okay, I'm getting intel right now, so I'm just going to go and keep doing this, and then I'm going to back off and take 2 or 3 days rest and relaxation, and then go at it again. You can have a better game plan if you're aware of this. And also, these profiles really helped to not expect more from, there's the light keeper alphas and betas, and sometimes we assume that a beta is an alpha and they're not, and we expect too much from them, and we don't get it, and then we think that we've been that they're they hurt our feelings. People can be destroyed by thinking that someone is going to give them something that they never will. And once you know that, then you stop expecting it. It's like, okay, if I get what I want, or if I get what I need from this person, even though I've given 10 units of giving, and they only give back 1, that's what they do. I just need to know that. If I'm going to give this person, they're a beta. They're only going to give me 2 or 3 back. So I need to be aware of that. And
that is so helpful. Yeah, because we get so bent out of shape. And then we can even use compassionate, nonviolent communication and all of our intimacy skills if we have them, or negotiating. We can hold on to a relationship and torment ourselves and waste our energy when if we had this discernment, we could just go, oh, like you say, they're only capable of this. Let's appreciate that. Let's exchange with that. And let's not get pulled apart by that reality.
Exactly. My family is pretty steeped in organized religion, like I used to be, and I thought at one time that I could open their eyes to new things and truths that I could see that they were being duped. They didn't want to hear that, and after really looking at this book, I thought, you know what? I just need to be okay with them where they're at right now. I'll throw in little light rings of light here and there, but they're Earth people. And if they evolve to another level in this lifetime, that's good. And if not, they're Earth people. So I don't need to think it's my responsibility to drag them along. It's not. I can throw them light rings of light and truth, and if they choose to grab it, then I'll help, pull them along. But if not, I'm not going to go out in the water and put them in a lock hold and, carry them along with me. I'm not going to do that. And they'd be kicking and screaming and trying to drown me. So that wouldn't be helpful for either one of us.
Yeah, it's really worth getting a hold of this book and reading the section on the light conductors and the light destroyers and all the gradations thereof, because they're separate spirals, because you really break it down in great detail. We can't go into on the show, I don't think. It is the detail that is really helpful in the distinction between them. Now, you say that people can evolve from one to the other in one lifetime. But that's not ours to do. That's their choice. It's,
if you have, you can help them. I think that even some members of my family are kind of evolving. I kind of see a couple of them evolving to maybe a beta. And so that's good, and I just do what I can when I can, but I don't have my heart and soul invested in whether or not they move, like in the next 10 years. It's not, I just have to be okay with them being Earth people. And it really is helpful to not have all of this pressure on yourself. It's like, okay, live and let live, be happy.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, Laura Lee, what is the distinction between an Earth person and a, first wave indigo or a light keeper? I mean, it's a completely different being, but maybe we need to define that a bit more.
Okay.
When we say they're just Earth people, it may sound to some people like, what do you mean they're just Earth people? What's wrong with them? And there's nothing wrong.
But it's a complete,
there's a dedication to truth that's going on with these.
Exactly. And the poor Earth people, the poor Earth people have been bombarded with a bunch of BS all of their lives, and it's just really hard for them. And so, yes, we can wake them up, but we don't need to beat ourselves up if they don't wake up in the next 2 years, okay? So you just do the best you can and don't have your heart and soul vested in it. Now, the interesting thing about first wave indigos is that they were never born and they don't die. They walk in and they walk out of bodies. And so there's like a whole different dynamic with them. And they can step in and step out of bodies before they actually anchor into a body. In general, there's like 3 bodies that they're kind of working with that they can step in and step out of. And I have worked with a lot of indigos, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what just happened? Their indigo isn't there. Well, the indigo went somewhere else because that body wasn't working out for them. And I've seen a lot of this happen, especially recently, and I call it musical bodies, where things are kind of getting tense, and if a body's not working out, if they feel like they can't clear the corruption in that body in time, they opt for another body and they will leave. And it's really confusing if you don't understand this dynamic, and you can get your feelings hurt. And it might be a significant other, and all of a sudden the indigo is gone. and you're just like, what the heck? And so it does cause confusion, but if you understand it, you go, okay, well, do I want to stay in this relationship, or, you know, should I let them go find somebody else, and I'll go find somebody else? So this is a really important dynamic that, and it happens a lot, and I don't see it probably slowing down any, because Indigos are looking really hard and fast for a good quality body that they can do their work in and clear the body without too much interference from friends and family and do their work. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. And especially the Indigos and Cosmic Cleanup Crew came to some of the most debilitating places on the planet, debilitating family situations. They came in, you know, all sorts of abuse and hardships and struggles and physical struggles and MK Ultra programming and just crazy stuff, so that they could get the keys and the codes they need in order to bust those systems. You can't bust a system until you understand the system, and the only way to understand the system is to have actually lived through those experiences. So many Indigos opted to come into horrible, horrible circumstances, and they need to know, oh, okay, I did this so I could get the intel. Okay, now I get it. Let's do that, and we're good to go now. Just that idea alone can really help free you, and you can stop beating yourself up for being, you know, so inept that you can't run your life. Well, it's like, okay, I'm just going to have to step up my pace now that I know what it is, and I can get through this. And that's the thing that I really try to help my clients know, is that they can get through it. If I've gotten through all the crap that I've gotten through, they can get through the crap they're going through. and we just have to lighten up a little bit, because, and that's what Hal said. He said, if you don't lighten up and laugh on a regular basis, you will get stuck here. You'll think this is real, and you'll never get out. And he is so true, because I know that laughter has pulled me out of more horrible circumstances than I can even tell you. But some of those stories are in the book, too.
Beautiful. We have about 2 minutes left on this hour. It's gone very fast, but we are going to have Laura Lee back next Friday night for part 2, where we're going to deal with removing our chakras, the Kundalini conspiracy, and a whole lot more of how to really embody and get through this if you are a first wave Indigo. Laura Lee, I know you do sessions. I know that your book is absolutely vital to people. How do they contact you, and how do they get those things happening? Okay.
The contact information, and I do emails. Don't contact me on the phone, because I don't do phone. I have an answering machine. The number there is an answering machine.
We're out of time, so just give the website now.
Okay.
Please.
So the website is firstwaveindigos.com, and you can get everything you need to know there. And yeah.
Good night, everyone. There's so much information in this beautiful lady. We'll be back next week. Join us again. Thank you, Laura Lee. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thanks for inviting me back.